Hello, fellow YouTubers. J-Bo here with another video about a special rifle. You probably know what it is already. That is the Ruger PC Carbine in 9mm, also called the PC-9, which technically it is not a police carbine that they used to have in the 90s, though it's reminiscent of it. And what's good about it is it's a breakdown model. Really cool rifle. I have nothing bad to say about this rifle. I shoot it often, and it goes together really easily. So I just wanted to cover the basic features and talk about it a little bit. And you have these extensions that you can add if you want a longer length of pull. I'm 6'4" with long arms, and that's the longest I can get out of it. And it's perfect. So look at this nice rail that is on here. And you'll notice this red dot is a cheap red dot bought on Amazon because I'm kind of new to these kind of optics besides the old-fashioned scopes. And I've been using these for a couple of years now, and I bought a cheap one thinking it wouldn't last long, and it's still working 2 years later. So, and it holds zero pretty good with 9mm because this gun does not have much recoil. So anyway, the point being is you'll see it's elevated, which I would prefer to have that right on the rail to lower it closer to the front sight, which will give you better accuracy at 100 to 200 yards, where with it sitting up like it is, if I sight this for 50 yards and then I shoot 100 yards, it shoots point of aim is higher than if it was the other way around, or lower, I don't remember. But anyway, the point is it changes the point of aim because of the minute of angle. So anyway, that being said, what's cool about this rifle is you have these different mag wells that you can change out. Right now I have it for the Ruger magazines. You can have Glock magazines with this if you want. And I think there's a third option they added not long ago, a few months ago. I'm not quite sure, and that's on the Ruger website. They do sell these mag wells, which is good. So basically, this is 9mm, and we have 17 round magazines, and I have noticed that this shoots the 124 and 147 grain rounds the best, but it handles all of them. The most popular probably the 115 grain, but when you shoot the 124 and 147, they really hit the target harder, and it has a better feel when you're shooting. And so anyway, we have the cross bolt safety, which people are used to. It's in a good place where you can push it where you put your finger to start firing. I hate it when they put it back here. So we get that good. And what's good about this is somewhat ambidextrous, and you can put this charging handle on the other side if you so want it, if you're a lefty. But you know, you can't do anything about where the shell casings come out. That's the thing. But very cool rifle, and you can also change the mag release to put on the other side if you so choose. And we have the bolt release on here. And so just pull that back while you're pushing down on that, and you can lock your bolt open, which you need to do to take this off because it does break apart. Now, problems people do have with this, as you'll notice the short distance between the front sight and the rear sight. I don't have a problem shooting these like that. I hit what I'm aiming at. I can do fine with it. But a lot of people like the rear sight on the rear and not in the middle. That's actually a middle sight, if you ask me, honestly, because it's kind of like in the middle of the gun. So I don't use the iron sights on here too often, but when I do, I don't have a problem with it. And I did color the tip of the front sight with a silver paint pen, which I do often, because I like to have that contrast. And so anyway, like I was saying, we have the scope sitting higher than, the optic sitting higher than I would like it. I'd like it flat on the rail, but then I lose my sights, and it's a compromise. See, I can look down. See that? That's what I want right there. And you can see why I put that white dot on the front sight. I have old eyeballs. I can see that very easily. So anyway, a lot of people, when they do have problems with this rifle, they have a problem with this wheel and this adjustment. They don't know how to adjust it properly. And make sure the bolt's open, safety's on, it's clear, it's been checked. And you just pull this lever right here, like that, give it a turn, and it literally just comes out like that. And you can put it in a large backpack or rucksack bag, gun bag. And there's different kinds of stocks you can buy for this also. That are, they got all kinds of collapsible stock, and they got all kinds of strange things you can get for this. But you can see how that's made right there. So everything's machined well. But anyway, with regard to the wheel adjustment, what you need to do is put this in here. Oh, my bolt closed. There we go. I locked my bolt open again. So what you do is put this on here, and you tighten that with it open like this. You tighten the wheel a little bit, then you close it, and then you find it to where you cannot move it. And if you shake the gun, nothing's moving. You can't physically move that. And when you have that done properly, it feels like a one-piece solid rifle. And if you put that wheel too tight, you won't be able to close that. So there is a happy medium you can find there. But if you have this loose and it's wiggly, your accuracy is going to be off. And I see people online complain a couple of videos where they didn't like the accuracy, and I have no idea if that's why they did that. If the reason was that they didn't adjust this properly, and I'm assuming so, because this rifle is very, very, very accurate. I can shoot this 100 yards and hit a 3-inch small target. That's not a joke. And very reliably, repetitively. So if there's something wrong with your Ruger PC carbine, then it has something to do with something like that. And you need to look into that. So anyway, the flash hider, well, this is technically kind of like a muzzle brake because you get the 2 vent holes on the top. So when it shoots, it cuts the kick down. I get no recoil with this. And I really don't feel like I needed to do this. And I just put this on here because I like how it looks. I mean, it does look pretty awesome. I just like how that looks. So I used a crush washer. And the other thing is, because this is detachable, I wrapped a piece of leather around the barrel, put it in a vise to hold it still, and I put my crush washer and this on here, tightened it to the appropriate tightening of it. So taking this off, I'd have to put it in a vise to take this off. I don't use a suppressor. I've got no use for anything that could screw on the end of this, so this is fine with me. But if you want to interchange things, the cap that came with it, you'd probably just want to use that screwed on there so you can put different attachments and have everything finger tight. But like I said, I like to have this on here permanently, and that's for what I use it for. That's all I need it for. So anyway, what do I think of this overall? I I think this rifle is a home run. Everything is solid. Everything has been perfect. I have no complaints with this. I have owned it for over a year now. I have shot the hell out of it, and it's easy to clean, maintain, and it performs. And I put a bipod on this mount here, this strap thingamajigger. And you know, taking it apart is easy. If you're familiar with a Ruger 1022, it kind of comes apart the same way. You just unscrew that. You don't have to do it because you just take this off. You unscrew this with a hex key that comes with it, and you unscrew that, and you can take the whole bolt assembly out. Everything just comes right out. You can change the mag well. Very easy to do, and it's just all in all a great rifle. And I don't have any shooting video with it, but I might remedy that this weekend because I'm going to be shooting it this weekend. And you'll recognize the trigger group. It very closely resembles the Ruger 1022 trigger group, which my brother has a 1022, and they're very similar. So this is a very, very excellent rifle, and I like the butt pad on it. And like I said, this really does not have any recoil, so it really doesn't. And it's really easy to shoot. You can shoot this one-handed, by the way, also, very easily. I don't know why you would want to, but if you were in a self-defense situation and this is all you had, and you know, you had a small child with you that you were protecting, or you were on the phone with 911 and you didn't have a Bluetooth, or whatever kind of situation would come up, you could get away with just holding this as a pistol. See, I'm holding it with one hand, and it's really not a big deal. But you'd probably want a pistol instead in that situation, but I'm just saying, if this is all you have at the time. And so anyway, we got these magazines. Now this is a Ruger magazine that came with it. It only came with one magazine. It's the only drawback I find in these quote-unquote budget rifles, where this was about $600 new. It's not a very budget rifle if you ask me. But anyway, I got two Pro Mag magazines. Now, I know the reputation of Pro Mag, and I agree with a lot of it, but I can tell you, these Pro Mag magazines with this rifle, I have not had a single problem with either one of these. These are very reliable and functional. I haven't had any issues. The only magazine I've had an issue with, actually, is I think it's a Triple K Glock 33 round extended magazine. That's the only one I've had a problem with. I even bought a replacement spring from Wolf Springs, I think, and that didn't cure my problem either. That one has feeding issues, and I just never use it. But this does run Glock magazines flawlessly, and it runs these Ruger magazines flawlessly. So whatever you prefer. I don't own a Glock pistol, and I just gravitated and I just use these magazines. I like these magazines. They're metal, they work well, and I don't have any issues. Now, a problem people have, okay, is they put a magazine in here. You can't do, I mean, you're going to want to, but you cannot do like you do on an AR rifle and slam your magazine in there. Okay, because what that does is there's an ejector inside. That's part of the mag well. So what happens is I have this mag well that is for the Glock, which goes in here like that. Okay, it goes in there like that way. And what you do is you put the magazine in. Now keep in mind, this is the Glock one, so it's not going to lock in there because this is a Ruger magazine. My Glock magazines are upstairs, and I don't feel like going to get them. So anyway, you get the idea. You shove this in here like this, and you will see this ejector, extractor, or whatever you want to call that. but that is in there like this. And when you slam your magazine in there, what happens is this gets bent upward. Okay, you end up bending this piece. And what happens is the bolt in the rifle, we'll pretend this is the bolt for the firing pin. The bolt, which slides over it every time it fires and it feeds a new round, what happens is when you bend this, is that starts hitting the bolt and you start getting metal on metal friction. And what happens when you do that, when you slow the bolt down, you get misfires, failure to feed, failure to eject, stovepiping, all kinds of problems because you're slowing the bolt down. And that's what causes it. And that will happen after about 1,000 rounds, people say. Oh, after about 1,000 rounds, these guns malfunction. Well, the gun's not malfunctioning. It's got nothing to do with anything other than this. You're slamming the magazines in there. So don't do that. Just put your magazine in like, you know, if you want to slam it in like it's an AR, then do that. And then you see some people online, well, if I can't put magazines in the way I want it, I don't want it. Well, hey, you know, that's a free country. Don't buy it. But I'm just telling you, you can see why that happens. You slam that in there, and you're going to bend that. And that's what's going to happen. So if you have one of these and you're having that problem, you can try to bend this back down a smidge so it's not hitting the bolt. And you can actually tell if it is or not. Just, you know, look at it, look inside. You can see it when it does that, and you can feel it, and you'll see scoring on the bottom of that weighted bolt. Because it's a blowback design, and it has a weight in there to add it weight, and it's pretty heavy. So anyway, hopefully that helps. If you're having that problem, that's what's causing that. So I just wanted to let you know about it. And, you know, unfortunately, you cannot buy a new piece like that. From what I can see, you have to buy the whole unit. But Ruger does sell these on their website, these units. I think they're 25 to 30 bucks. So if you do need one, they have them. You might want to pick up an extra one maybe. And the other thing I did see is that part will come out of the Glock one. And you can actually use this part in the one that's installed in it. That will work. I've not done it, but I've seen people do it online. So if you like to use these magazines and you bend that piece that came with it, or you broke it, this one can be used in that. But you can get a whole new assembly by just buying a new magwell. So hopefully that helps you. And so I don't have too much more to talk about with this rifle other than it's really friggin' awesome. I really enjoy this one, and it's because of the accuracy, and it's just fun to shoot. You can really plink away with this thing with 9mm. It's great. And so anyway, the Ruger PC Carbine. Don't shy away from it. Don't avoid it. If you get a chance to get one, just pick one up. And they're really excellent. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe, click like, etc. And really, I thank you for watching. So bye-bye.